slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Ryan Giles with Brian Giles MTG. Hoo-ha! We're here with Edge of Eternities spoilers. Now, initially, I did not have a lot of love for this set. I thought it was just going to be kind of like a mishmash leftover stuff from Infinity that they were just going to throw together. But evidently, they put some thought and stuff into this set. So, starting off, we're going to look at the full art lands, which again are very stunning and are they're a lot like the Infinity lands. I think they'll be highly desirable. The artwork on them is beautiful. Whereas, in Infinity, they had a kind of a spherical theme to them. These seem to have more of a real spacey type of look and feel to them. So, hoo-ha. So I didn't go over these when they did the initial reveal of the set, because I wanted to give you everything in a whole thing, and I wasn't trying to make short little videos. So first up, we have a new character named Sammy Ship's Engineer. So a red, a white, and 2 for a 2/4 legendary human artificer. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 2 or more tapped creatures, create a tap 2/2 colorless robot artifact creature token. So, hoo-ha. Next up is the kind of like the flagship Planeswalker in Tezzeret Cruel Captain. 3 generic for a 4 loyalty legendary Planeswalker Tezzeret. Whenever artifact you control enters, put a loyalty counter on Tezzeret. He's all about the artifact, always has been. 0 loyalty, you can untap target artifact or creature. If it's an artifact creature, put a +1/+1 counter on it. -3 loyalty, search your library for an artifact card with mana value 1 or less. Put it in your hand and shuffle. -7 loyalty, get an emblem at the beginning of combat on your turn with 3 +1/+1 counters on target artifact you control. If it's not a creature, it becomes a 0/0 robot artifact creature. He's not bad. He's definitely, he's got, if you like artifacts, he's got some stuff going on there. Next up, we have a new type of magic card in a spaceship. So a spaceship, this is a Sarema, 2 white and 1 for a 5/5 legendary artifact spacecraft. When it enters, search your library for a legendary creature card, put it in your hand, then shuffle. Now, I can't become an artifact creature unless you use this station mechanic. Means you tap creatures and put counters on it equal to the creature's power. When it's stationed, and this is stationed at 7+, it becomes a 5/5 flyer, and other legendary creatures you control have indestructible. Not bad. Now, this is one of the face commanders of the 2 commander decks. This is Kilo, Apogee Mind. Blue, red, white for a 3/3 legendary artifact creature robot artificer. It has haste. When it becomes tapped, you proliferate. So you can get your counters up faster and stuff like the Sarema. That, those are counters for your station mechanic. So proliferate works on those. Next up is a Sazerael Genesis Shepherd. Black, red, green, and 2 for a 2/5 legendary insect druid with flying. You can play lands from your graveyard whenever you sacrifice another non-token permanent during your turn. Put a number of +1/+1 counters equal to Sazerael powers on up to one other target creature. So you sack a creature and you can put +1/+1 counters on another creature. And then we've got 5 Shocklands. Breeding Pool, Godless Shrine, Sacred Foundry, Stomping Grounds, and Watery Grave. Next up is kind of like one of the spotlights of this set in Sophera the Super Void. 2 black and 2 for a legendary enchantment. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent chooses a creature they control and exiles it. Well, in black, you're doing a lot of sacrificing, so that could just be evil in itself. At the beginning of your end step, if the player controls no creatures, sacrifice Sophera, put a creature card exiled with it onto the battlefield under your control with 2 additional +1/+1 counters on it. Okay. Then we have lands from the bonus sheet. This is Mutavault in the special treatments. It's a land, tap a colorless, or pay 1 and it becomes a 2/2 creature with all creature types until end of turn, and it's still a land. Here we have Afrel, Dreaming Acolyte, blue, black, and 1 for 2/3 human cleric. When it enters, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards unless you discard an artifact card. During your turn, Afrel has Death Touch. Hoo-haw! Then we have an Eldrazi. I apologize for the look of that. This is the full art version, the anime version, which will be in the Fracture foil. So it's 6 mana for a 7/5 Eldrazi. When this creature leaves the battlefield, draw a card. You can put a permanent card with mana value less than or equal to number of lands you control from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. And it has a new mechanic called Warp. Warp is kind of like the adventure mechanic. You can warp this in for 4 mana, and it goes back and it goes into exile at the end of your turn, but you can still have its enters and leaves ability. So when it leaves the battlefield, draw a card and put some stuff on the battlefield with the amount of lands. So it's definitely useful. Eldrazi decks. Hoo-haw. Next up, we have the first in the Mythic Cycle of Lands. Please excuse us. Stupid ads. I apologize for that. So the mythic cycle of lands is Susser Secundae Void Altar. It's a new land type called Planet. When it enters tapped, and you can tap it for a black mana, but it has the it has the station mechanic with all of these lands that are going to be in this mythic land cycle we'll have. So if you station it up with 12 counters, you can pay black and 1 and pay 2 life and sacrifice a creature to draw cards equals to the sacrificed creature's power. Activate only as a sorcery. Not too impressive, but wait, there's more. Next up, we have Embrace Oblivion. Now this is, there's going to be a lot of removal in this set, especially in black. So Embrace Oblivion is a black mana for a sorcery. Additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice an artifact or creature. Destroy target creature or spacecraft. We have Command Bridge. It's a land that enters tapped, and land enters, sacrifice it unless you tap an untapped permanent you control. Tap it to add 1 mana of any color. Then we have Vote Out, which is kind of this set's take on Among Us. So a black and 3 with, for a sorcery with Convoke to destroy target creature. It's an more removal. You got Warping Whale. Now this is what we refer to as the 50s, the old sci-fi comic book treatments that'll be found in collector boosters. So it's a colorless and 1 for an instant that reads, choose 1. You can exile a creature with power toughness 1 or less, counter target sorcery spell, or create a 1/1 colorless Eldrazi Scion creature token that has, sacrifice this token to add a colorless mana. So, hoo-ha. But, we got, there's some Eldrazi stuff in there. We've got Timeline Color. 2 black for a 2/2 Drix Warlock with haste. They cast this card from graveyard using its warp ability. It has a warp ability of pay a black and 2 life. So this guy can keep coming back. Unless you exile this guy, you can keep coming it back. You can pay his warp ability. Because he has haste, he can attack even when he's used his warp ability. So this guy, he's just going to keep coming back. And the only thing is, you got to pay the 2 life, but that just puts him back into the warp, and you can just pay him again later at full cost. So he keeps coming back and coming back. So it's this guy's gonna be an interesting card. Next up, we have Terra Symbiosis. Now this is a a green and 2 for a enchantment that reads whatever one or more +1/+1 counters are put on a creature you control. You draw that many cards. Do this only once each turn. It's going to be interesting. Card draw in green. So, Moonlit Meditation. The blue and 2 for an enchantment aura. Artifact or creature control. First time you create one or more tokens each turn, you may instead create that many tokens that are copies of enchanted permanent. So yeah, you can do a lot of stuff. Next up we have Ice Tail Explorer. Now this is an interesting card. For 2 green and 2, you get a 2/4 Insect Scout. You play additional lands on each of your turns. Play lands from your graveyard. As landfall, whenever land you control enters, you can mill a card. So you're constantly putting stuff in your graveyard. Graveyard love. You know, like this guy. He's definitely a good card. Except we have another land from the bonus sheet. Bonder's Enclave. It's a land, tap to add a colorless or pay 3, tap it to draw a card. You can only activate it if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. We have Cathedral of War, a land that enters tapped, has exalted, so whenever a creature attacks alone, it gets +1/+1 till end of turn. Tap it to add a colorless. Next up, we have Virulent Silencer. So this is Finn the Fangbearer, but not legendary. So 3 mana for a 2/3 artifact creature robot assassin. Whenever a non-token artifact creature you control deal combat damage to a player, it gets 2 poison counters. So artifact heavy deck, artifact creature heavy deck. Gonna love this thing, and because it's unlike a Finn Fangbear with light on creatures having death touch. You just have to be a non-token artifact creature, and it's not legendary, so you can stack these, and yeah, you can get people out pretty quick. This is going to be an interesting card to see where that goes. We have Nova Hellkite. 2 red and 3 for a 4/5 dragon with flying and haste. And when it enters, it deals 1 damage to target creature an opponent controls. And you can warp it in for a red and 2. Now it's got a good warp cost. Of course, with the haste and flying, can swing in early, and then later you can bring it back out, and it's got a little ping effect. I'm absolutely liking this guy. Next up, we have Starfield Shepherd. 2 white and 3 for a 3/2 angel. When it enters, search your library for a basic plains card or a creature card, mana value 1 or less. Put it into your hand and shuffle. And you can warp it in for a white and 1. So this useful card would like to see a little bit more than power and toughness, but It'll work for now. We have Starfighter Pilot. A white and 1 for 2-2 human pilot. When it becomes tapped, surveil 1. Then we have Larval Scoutlander. So, a green and 2 for a 3/3 artifact spacecraft. When it enters, you can sacrifice a land or a lander. If you do, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, and shuffle. You can station it for 7+, and when you do, it has flying. Well, that's all I'm going to do for this video. There's more to come. We'll see you on the next video.